The only
Okay.
thing I will say is the ending slide t tonight mentions Anna's talk.
Yeah.
So thank you for sending me the title for that, Anna.
Okay. Let's get started. And you folks know what the routine is, at least what it's supposed to be. If you see your photos and you'd like to comment on them, feel free. We're going to show every photo that was hung. Um, but it doesn't look like everybody who hung a photo is here. So, um, you know, feel free to say a few words and then we'll move on to the next slide. So here we go. This is the monthly membership meeting of today, Tuesday, October 21st. And we're going to show images from the 2025 member salon. And I don't see Mustafa among the people who are here. And I'm not showing everybody I'm not showing the gallery here. So if somebody is here, just start speaking about your photos. This is one of the photos that Mustafa put up. He put up two photos, both of Marketplace East. This is one of the views. This is another of the views. John has this beautiful picture here. John,
Hi, uh, this goes back to the pandemic, beginnings of the pandemic. I was wondering and looking, what might I photograph without having to go out and about and mingle, and what could I do on my own? And started looking around the house and the garden around the house, and did a little series of these flower photographs. Uh, they start out as a color file, and I do some editing to the color file to get it to a point that I'm happy with it. And then I convert it to a black and white file. Then, if you're familiar with Photoshop, when you're working in Photoshop, you work on layers. And if you're familiar with layers, each layer is made up of three channels: a red channel, a blue channel, and a green channel. And what I did was if you manipulate the curves in those channels, um, you can change the color of the photograph. You can make it more yellow, more blue, more red, more uh, magenta, whatever you want to do. And so I manipulated those channels to adjust the color. And the final touch, I added a texture overlay to the picture. So that's how this comes about. Hmm.
It
Martin
looks like
here.
it looks like a Halloween picture.
He calls it Preacher Man.
Yeah.
Looks like part of, as he calls it, No Kings. Hey, Anna.
Hi. I have submitted three of my pictures, which I think at least two of them should be looked at the same time. Is it possible to have them at the same time?
No.
No. Okay. So anyway, the photographs that you will see, this is the first one. They were all taken between 2021 and 2024 in the Wissahickon Valley Park. And this is where I often go to find peace and, just to recharge and to not only get some physical, I would say, health, but also from the mental point of view. I find the contact with nature very relaxing. And whenever I go there, I try not to take my, I would say, proper camera with me because I want to just clear my thoughts and my mind. And I find that sometimes photography occupies me so much that I lose the sense of time and I concentrate totally on taking pictures. Hence, I cannot not to take pictures. So these are just a few that I've taken during my long walks in the Valley Green Inn. What I really like, I like taking pictures of, I would say, ordinary scenery or places and turning them into sort of like almost impressionistic paintings. So the previous one, Irana, just one second, my daughter is here. Uh, this is like the impressionist thing, Ira, one second, painting. That is the reflection of the trees and the leaves that are on the surface of the water. And what I really like about this technique is that I managed to capture the fleeting moments, and I know that this cannot be repeated, cannot be taken once again, even when you go there at the same time, at the same light, the same day. It never happens. So I treasure those picture painting likes very much. So this one, I when I in the gallery, I put this one and the first one along next to each other because they were taken in the same place. Obviously, as you can see, this is winter. The previous one was fall. This one, you can ask yourself a question: Is this a real picture? Is it really something like this happened? Yes, that is if you move your head or if you tilt your head to my right. This is just the reflection of the same trees and the same rock, but I positioned it in that way to create something out of this world. To me, it reminds me of sort of like a skull or a skull of a bull or some sort of animal, maybe even a Halloween-like creature. And this was just to next to the first one to show the contrast between the normal like still life, I would say, versus the creator's imaginary vision. As you can see, fall and winter are my I would say favorite seasons. Fall because the beautiful colors, I really adore the golden, the red, and still the green, so you have everything, and the light is beautiful. And I also love the black and white pictures taken during winter because you can see, you are not distracted by the colors, you can see and create things which might not have been there at the first glance out of just two colors.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
John calls this mirror image. This got a lot of comments at the exhibit, Sky Runner. Not with these beautiful bird pictures of this. Portrait of a yellow jacket. Lisa?
So I visited my niece, and I showed you one of the photographs before, but which made me think about putting the three in there of my niece, all three of them are of her, and they live in Argentina, but we drove to Chile to see the beautiful beaches. This area, it just looked like a big throne, to me, and Selva climbed into it, and it was just, I thought, a really nice scene. This is the one I had shown you before, and we talked about that has the reflection in the water of the houses. And I liked it because it kind of had a leading line to her, and the ripples I really liked. And it seemed to uh, work well with black and white. Selva again, running from the waves, trying, to outrun the wave. And it was just that time of day when it really cast a very long shadow in front of her. And I looked at that and really liked it. And just being out, like Anna was talking about, in nature really calms you down and actually gave me a lot of time to think about photography, whereas day to day, you don't seem to have as much time, so I took many, many photos, and they were just a few of them. Yep.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, so this is a cathedral built in Barcelona, Spain. My wife and I went to Barcelona recently, and these colors are real. These aren't like fake colors and the architect Gaudi just built this magnificent church. And it's like 140 years still being constructed. And sometimes I wonder if they're not rushing it because they're doing a great job fundraising to keep the construction going. But it's just looking up, and made the columns thinking of trees. So he was using nature as his guide to building. So if you look at the columns and you're looking up towards the center there, you can see how the columns sort of branch out like a tree would branch out. But he also had blue and green stained glass windows on the east side for the morning light, and orange and red stained glass windows on the west side for the sunset side. And so the orange and stuff you see is the light coming through the stained glass windows. So Sagrada Familia. If you get to Barcelona, you got to see it. So this is one of the houses. Gaudi also designed a few houses. And this was a old-fashioned gramophone in the house. And I've never seen the horn was actually made of lacquered wood, and it just was so beautiful. So I got a picture of that. And this one, actually, my wife took this one. And if you haven't been to Grounds for Sculpture, it's in Hamilton, New Jersey. It's near the Hamilton train station. It's an incredible sculpture garden. It's about 43 acres, which, to put it in perspective, is about the same size as the Philadelphia Zoo, except for instead of animals, they have sculptures. We're members there. And every time you go there, even though you've seen all the sculptures, because sculptures are three-dimensional, they always look different because you're always standing at a slightly different angle. And this is based on Matisse's The Dancer. So if you've been to the Barns and you see the big mural at the top of the first floor, that's also based on the dancers. And he's got a whole series of painting with these dancers. And so this is sort of based on Matisse and the dancers. But if you haven't been to Grounds for Sculpture, I strongly recommend you go there because it's just a lot of it's very whimsical. Sculpture is sort of based on Impressionist paintings.
Thanks, Steve. The one and only.
You have to yell when yours come on.
Comcast Center. Joe?
There we go.
Is Joe Labolito here? You want to say something, Joe?
He's here, he has to unmute.
There we go.
I didn't sleep through yours.
Yeah, these were both shot with a 4x5 view camera. And this was made in the mid 80s, 1984, I believe, something like that.
What it
And
says.
the next one is in the very early 90s. If memory serves, I was pretty lucky. I was originally commissioned by the Free Library of Philadelphia's print and picture department when I was in PCA back in early 1980, 81. They gave me my first commission, and they weren't big commissions, but they were enough to go out and make 20 images with a view camera and make some selenium tone prints. There's over 1,300 prints in that collection. The commissions went on for 25 years. So I photographed all parts of Philadelphia, mostly neighborhoods. These particular images are a little more Chamber of Commerce than some of the other ones. Some of them are from Frankfurt and Kensington and North Broad Street and South Broad Street, and some boxing gyms and cultures like that. A lot of small business owners. So I was pretty lucky to get the commission. When the gentleman that originally commissioned me was Robert Looney, when he retired, it turns out that he was a big deal. And as a collector in Philadelphia, I did not know that because I was a 20-year-old art student and didn't really do any research at all. I just used the camera and enjoyed it. Turns out that every person after him that ran the print and picture department knew that I was collected by Mr. Looney, so they would collect me too. And this went on all the way up to the last portfolio was of the Barnes, which I believe was 2006. So I had quite a run. Like I said, there's 1,300 prints in that collection. The Temple's Special Collections Research Center also holds a copy of these images, and they also have the electronic images. These photographs that you're looking at here and the ones that were in the show were scanned from the original. They were high-res scans from the original black and white negative, 4x5 negatives, and then made modern digital prints from those negatives. I did most of that during COVID. During the shutdown, I went through, reorganized my work, and scanned everything. And now in my retirement, I just recently retired after a career as a working photographer. I'm beginning to promote this work.
Thank you, Joe.
Mhm.
Hi,
Anthony?
everyone.
Hey.
Yep, this is Anthony. This is I call it pink floral because it's very pink, and I wanted pink, pink. I wanted it to be pretty, and I found it very soothing. I think kind of like Lisa has said and talked about nature being healing. I think nature is healing, and I wanted to get close with it, close up to it. I have a macro lens that I like using, and I took these photos. I think there were three of them back in September, just a month ago. Yeah, and this is I've learned since something called Joe Pie weed, very pink and pretty. I wanted them to be pretty. I wanted them to be soothing, and I wanted them to be soft um, and healing in a way. Um, and the third of the ones that I entered was is a photo of a pine tree from below. You know, the branches are very long and beautiful, and I just stood below it and took photos up at it. And I just like the chaos and the branching and the beautiful needles and the colors. So my theme, I guess, would be that nature is healing. I wanted to get a little closer to it with my macro lens. Um, and I just wanted them to be soothing. That's it.
Nice, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, this is me. This is in my philosophical phase. And this picture and the one coming after it is from a solo show that I did that I titled Naturally Speaking. So, and I had little commentary with each one of these photos. So I'm just going to read what it says about this because the premise I was advancing was that, you know, artists and photographers and whatnot struggle a lot to get what they think are beautiful images, beautiful or meaningful or descriptive or whatnot. But in the realm of beauty, I was sort of advancing the idea is that nature doesn't have to struggle. Nature just can fall off a log, and whatever nature does sort of ends up being beautiful. And we've tried to make examples of some of these, and this photo is called Swirly. From a project called Naturally Speaking, in which nature's ability to produce art by simply following its own course can transcend works by even the most skilled artisans of the humankind. Water, in particular, can exhibit this ability, as can be seen in this capture from the Swirly series that depicts an eddy created by rocks and created also by the flow in the stream, which also captures sky reflection that imparts a blue cast to a photograph that otherwise is monochromatic. But this is actually, there's no color adjustment to this at all. That was the picture. And then this one is called Swirly Bird from the same project. It's a photograph of a duck. There's a duck in there. The guy is right there in the middle. Was doing like 360s. I was standing at the bank at the end of a large pond. And this duck was doing these, started out about 20 yards from the bank. And slowly and surely kept doing these circles and getting himself closer to the bank. It was really beautiful thing. There's quite a few photos in this series. And he's creating this beautiful swirl. So I was lucky to get this picture, but nature did all the work here. So much for that. Stephen's picture, COVID memories. I mean, this is to me a meaningful picture because this is the way that these stations look in COVID era. Too bad Steve's not here to talk about that. Gene.
It's a infrared image, darkroom produced, and if you know about infrared, you know with the filtration, you change water to black and foliage to green, the green foliage to white, and like everyone's been saying, this is in Newtown, PA, up 95, and just being there and listening to the gushing water over the little falls there, like Anna had said, very peaceful to be connecting with nature. Was in Sea City one day. I was down there a couple summers ago. I'm just driving along, and this Lincoln Continental convertible is just sitting outside, and I just loved how the car was sitting there and the reflection. This doesn't really show it, but if you had seen the picture up close in the gallery, you would see all the reflection of the pebbles in the black polish of the car. And this one was 35 millimeter and also done in the dark room, and enjoyed seeing it.
Thank you, Gene.
Hi. Okay, this is a dessert in Lucca, Italy. The original photo had the glass in there and the napkin, but it was a great memory photo from the trip. It was too cluttered for a gallery photo. So I basically edited it out and just sort of did the compose it the way it is because you see the shadow from the fork with the confectioner's sugar, and that's what to me made it such a unusual photo because we're usually not served a piece of pie like that. And the way the colors all come together and the the slate uh, is what I was tried to do, and you have the shadow in the corner. It was more of a sense of organization. I'll quote from Ansel Adams. I not only took this picture, I made this picture. This is the engine room of the SS United States. I got a chance to tour the ship before it was sent off to Florida, and it's really a hazardous industrial site. There's no electricity on board, and you have to have flashlights. There is some generators and powers here. They took us down to the engine room. This is from the second story catwalk, and it just grabbed me. The colors were all brown, but I just composed it the way that you're looking down, the perspective and all the the grit, the texture of what once was, the Queen of the Seas. And what I did was I used my pocket camera. I thought this through is that no electricity, can't use studio lights, no room for a tripod. Bounce flash, there's no white ceilings, and forward flash kills everything. So what the cell phones do now from Google, Samsung, and Apple, the later ones, they'll do it. They do their own image stacking. They take a look at the CMOS center. They take the colors, you shoot the picture. This one was like 4 seconds, and it takes hundreds of images and it stitches them together into a clean image that without the camera shake. It's a little over sharpened, but that's just is better than not getting the picture at all. And I can always adjust the the blur, the Gaussian blur, just about 1 or 2 pixels to soften it up. Um, we were having a snack, and I like the donut with all the different sprinkles. I had the plate, and I had the placemat. I just put it together, and it was bright daylight. I just had to take a picture of that, and this is what I came up with. And the two food photos were in a juried show at the Philadelphia Sketch Club food exhibit, which is why I am featuring them here because they had passed jury muster before.
Thank you, David. Is Ray here? Ray hung 2 pictures, if I remember correctly. Mike?
Well, I'll tell you something. So this show, this is not hanging in the show, believe it or not.
It's not.
I have an image hanging in the show with by the same name that has
Hmm.
4 young children during the fireworks. So
Wow.
yeah,
Hang on, let me see if I can find that.
I may have sent that one to you, George, when we were first doing the testing. Like
Yeah, hang on a minute. Unfortunately, I only have 2 photos from you. I can't remember I don't know where the first photo is.
try the first one there. Just try that.
This is the first
That
one.
is that. Okay, well,
This is
just
the
go on to the next then. So this photograph was taken at Macy's in the last 10 days of its life. I was able to visit the store, maybe on 3 or 4 occasions in the last 6 weeks while it was open. And, each time you would come, you would see more and more evidence that they were just, disappearing into nothing. And at the point that they put their fixtures for sale, I was talking to Ben Zuckerman about this over the weekend. You knew it was real when they started selling the mannequins. And this is kind of a tight shot, um, because I wanted to, really get the face of the white of the white mannequin on the right, and the texture of the body on the black mannequin there. But these were among, probably 50 or 60 mannequins that were for sale at the same time, and, right on the main selling floor in Macy's. And I think they were selling for about $100 each. And I hope they all were able to find a new home that they like as much.
Thanks, Mike, and I'm really sorry about the selection of photos here.
No problem, George.
Appreciate the graciousness there. I don't think Ed is here. Is Ed among the group here?
No.
I asked him about this photo and asked him if this is a composite, and it is. At first, I thought he had found a sculpture that was, lying down on the ground and covered by vines, but he composited this. It's an interesting approach to photos.
Did anyone have
And
any idea of when this was made? I really like this photograph a lot. Did he happen to say when? Is there any more information on that other than
he did not say when he took this picture. Do you know Ed, Joe?
I do not?
Ed just is a great cemetery photographer. And I'm not sure which mausoleum this is or which cemetery of the many cemeteries that he's photographed in this is. But when he submitted this picture, he didn't say when it was taken.
And his latest book just got published.
Yeah.
There's a copy of it. If you're at the show next Sunday, just ask to look at his book is there.
Yep.
He's done a number of books, and
You Brock here? John wasn't able to make it, and he wrote us a nice little note. And he said, I have a drawing class that I love, and it's on Tuesday evening. Darn, since I also enjoy participating with the Photo Society. So he asked us to read what he would say about these two. This is called Rooting Over Traffic. So here it says he created a series of 20 woven prints titled How Trees See the World, each made from 2 photographs printed on fine art paper, cut into strips, and physically woven together.
Wow.
Not in Photoshop. This piece weaves an intentional camera motion, which he's parenthetically said ICM. So this weaves an intentional camera motion image with a longish exposure on a late autumn afternoon that blurred the cars passing beneath a section of the Pennypack Trail in Northeast Philadelphia. Interesting. So that's Rooting Over Traffic. This is called The Tower of London Ravens. He visited the Tower of London this summer and lucked out as 2 of the ravens were talking with each other at the top of a stairway entrance. And he was able to take several photos before having to move along, they say. Legend has it that if the Ravens ever leave the tower, London will fall. That's John's photos. Thank you, John.
And if I may add about the ravens, so they don't want London to fall, so they remove certain feathers or cut certain feathers so that they cannot fly away.
About that. Interesting to know.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if Jeff is here, but Jeff didn't have are you here, Jeff? He didn't have individual images of the 3 photos that he submitted. So, but he had taken a picture of the photos that are propped up on a mantelpiece and sent them in as his 3 photos. They're the 3 photos that are lined up along the bottom that are sitting on the mantle, and the one on the left is called the point, the one in the middle is called the laugh, and the one on the right is called the crowd. Too bad he's not here to explain how that came to be. I didn't see David in the group here. Is he here? It's a classic David Swift image. I didn't see Andrew either. Is Andrew here? For the people who aren't familiar with Paris, this building, I don't know if you can see the cursor, is Napoleon's tomb.
So, I call all 3 of the photos that I submitted here droneless drone photos because I did not use a drone to take them. I'm open for anybody to guess from where this photo was taken. Okay.
Some of us know, and we're not going
Yeah,
to
the other the ones I told. This is
City
taken
Hall?
from the top of the City Hall tower, right at the feet of the what's his name statue, William Penn statue. You can take this little tiny elevator up to a observation deck there, which gives you amazing 360-degree views of the city. So this was taken from there, as was the second one. The third one was taken. This was taken elsewhere. This is from this one of City Hall. Whoops. That's okay. This was taken from the Four Seasons Hotel dining room, which towers over City Hall, gives you great views of everything around the city from there. And this was also back from the feet of William Penn's statue at the top of City Hall, just with camera and my long lens. I don't even remember which camera and which lens I was using for it. But what struck me was the fall colors and certainly the angle and the view that you get from there. But just really far away and came out very clear. I was very pleased with it.
Nice. Thank you, Ben.
Oh, hello. Hi. Looks familiar. I decided to make a new tradition to only submit pictures to the salon show that I've taken in the current year. And even though she is a revolutionary reenactor, which doesn't qualify as Victorian, I just thought Victoria, she seems very posh. She's very British. She's meant to be one of the British loyalists as opposed to the colonial Tea Partiers. So this was taken at this year's Chestertown Tea Party reenactment in Chestertown, Maryland. Apparently, when Boston threw their Tea Party, the idea of throwing the tea in the harbor went viral as much as something could back then. So after Boston, I think Chestertown was like the second biggest tea party for that to happen. But this woman had a very pompous, I don't know what you call that kind of dress. Maybe someone can help me, but it just reminds me of the movie Cinderella and the stepsisters that had the big bubbly dresses. But she was more than happy to model, so I didn't know her name, so I just called her Victoria. Um, and I took all three of these with my cell phone because my SLR, and shame on me, is just a piece of broken junk until I get it fixed because I will need to do that again soon. So they're taken with my beat up iPhone, but ran through. I have the Nikon. It's a Photoshop. It's a set of Photoshop plugins that let you simulate different film treatments and light leaks and stuff like that. And I have fun with those. I don't like to lean on them too much, but I really like how this one came out. Um, yeah, so that's Chestertown. That is, um, I found on Google Earth this maze. Someone made a like a labyrinth made of trees, and it was on their private property. And I happened to attend a meeting for the Shore Rivers Association, which basically, as you know, in the Chesapeake area, the rivers are very important. So I went to a meeting, and one of the people there happened to be the guy who owned this tree labyrinth. And I said, "Hey, can I come check it out?" And he said, "Of course." And within this labyrinth, it was about a year ago because it was fall, it was Halloween, so he had it decorated with all these spooky things, and one of them was this mask kind of thing, and I was trying to think of what to call it, and I think it was my dad maybe, or I think I said, "Hey Dad, doesn't this look like Willem Dafoe?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure it does." So I call him Saint Willem. So it reminds me of Willem Dafoe, maybe as the Green Goblin in Spider-Man. It's funny, not to ramble too much, but I find that actors who play bad guys often are really friendly in real life. And I have a joke that I totally stole. I would love to meet Willem Dafoe so I could think of him as Willem DeFriend. Okay.
Man, thank you, John.
And this one actually is my favorite one. I I have family down in North Carolina. I try to get down there a couple times a year, but I'm challenging myself to drive a different way. It's so easy to go down, 301 to 95 to 85, and then I'm there in 6 hours. But I will take 12 or 13 hours if it means I can see something I've never seen before. And I asked my boss, who he was a cattle farmer and did a lot of business down in Virginia and West Virginia. I said, "Hey, can you recommend a new way to go?" And he said, Shenandoah.
Hmm.
And in one foggy day against the weather forecast recommendation, I saw this. And as you can see, it's kind of foggy in the background. That's not just the treatment. It actually was, as soon as literally a few minutes after I took this picture, the fog rolled in. So I was driving through fog with zero visibility for most of the time. But the fact that I got this one picture makes that trip worth it. So I want to go back and maybe see what I can do with their artist in residency program. I would love to camp down there and get compensated for it. That'd be a dream job. So even though I took it with a cell phone, I was so inspired by the beauty. It almost brought me to tears. I don't know if anyone's ever just been in nature and just felt so overwhelmed with the beauty of it. Whether you're religious or not, it feels religious in a natural way. So, yeah.
Thank you, John. So that's all we got here, folks, as far as the slides are concerned. Here we are back live. I guess we could talk about these photos. You could ask questions of any photographer that you want to. Um, Otherwise, Eileen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
You're muted.
There is an ending slide. Don't forget Anna's slide. But I just think that viewing the photography that's hanging at the Plastic Club and viewing it this way presents a different view of the work. And I just think it was amazing. And thank you, George, for putting all this together because I think it just presented the work um, in a different light. And I just think it was amazing to see it this way. And the other part was when we heard the description from the work and we heard what kind of equipment the images were captured with, it goes with my own just personal theory that the Photographic Society is about writing with light. And it doesn't really matter how you capture the image, as long as the image is captured uh, for for you to present, for someone to see what you see. And so I'm just glad we made it to 163 years, and I am so looking forward, and I hope the members are also looking forward to the 164th year.
Yeah.
So thank you all for your support. And November will be Anna, and we can't wait.
Sure.
There we go. Wissahickon Reflections. So
I just one comment. I'm new to the group, but I really enjoyed the gentleman that spoke about the drones at the reception.
Billy Kyle.
Billy. I was remembering Kyle, but I knew that was his first name. What I was moved by from him wasn't so much his images or even his technique. It was more the way that he totally embraced the technology and build a business around it and really uses the technology to his advantage. I was just really impressed by that as someone who, who is showing 4x5 view camera images, in a world now where he was talking about the fact that a lot of what he's doing is programmed, even to the point of where the drone goes. Like he's almost just waiting for it to be done. And the amount of effort that it must have taken him to get to that point, although he probably doesn't think that, for me, it just seems insurmountable to get to something like that. But he was very comfortable with it, and he was using today's technology to really make images and make a living. And he seemed like a good living. He seemed like he was making some photographs of some beautiful, beautiful properties. And the commission to shoot that 95 construction, he's got to be a player to be getting that kind of a job. So God bless him. And it was really impressive for you guys to get him in there. And I was impressed to listen to him and walk away from that, just really amazed at how he really threw himself into that technology and learned what sounded to me like every corner of it, and also enjoyed it. And his photographs were very good.
He also he gave a presentation, and it's available on at our YouTube site. Uh, and the timing of his presentation was just when everything was all in a tizzy because there's drones here and there's drones here and there's drones here, and it just made it seem when you saw the news that, oh, you could just get a drone and put it here and put it there. And when he gave his presentation, he was really pretty specific about what's involved, and the fact that drones are not invisible. And I just thought his presentation, um, uh, when we saw him at that point of just realizing that, drones are not invisible, that the police and other agencies know where you are using that drone. So I just thought that his explanation of that was really great. And yes, I mean, for the Photographic Society to be able to just talk about all these different methods of capturing images, it just makes all of these years that I've worked really hard worthwhile. And I hope that you all feel the same way.
Does wrap it up.
Very good, very good.
Can I just make one last comment here? I want to remind everybody that we're always looking for people to do one of our monthly meetings. So if you, I know Anna's doing next month, but if you say, I'd like to do one of these, don't wait for us to find you. Reach out to us and say, I could do one of these. We'd love to hear from you because we're always looking for people. I also want to remind you that Eileen said at the beginning of this presentation today that we're looking for people who have other ideas. Like I'm thinking of possibly saying, let's have a photo walk. And the result of the photo walk will be all the people who will participate will put our images together and do a monthly meeting based on what we did in the photo walk. So these are just some ideas. We also need people to help us. We'd like to reevaluate our logo. So there's lots of places where people can help. So if you're thinking you might be able to help and you have an idea what you can do to help us, I'm not going to tell you what they could be because you're probably going to be more creative than I will with ideas. We'd love to have you get more involved and help us that way because, as Eileen said, we've gone 163 years and we want to go a lot longer. So we need, it's not just leadership doing this thing, it's all of us, it's us together that does this.
Well, thank you, Steve. I think that was very well said. But just to follow on with that, there's a group of us that have a monthly planning meeting. And I think George could tell you more about the schedule, but it's like at a Monday at 4 p.m. And we kind of go over, some of these things that are coming up and we deal with some bigger issues as well. And if you think that you might like to sit in on a meeting, to see whether or not it's something that you want to get involved with, you should send an email to Eileen and let her know.
Please. Please.
And we'd be glad to see you there because, we need the ideas and we also need people to help with executing some of the events that we hold. So be able to serve a double purpose there if you're, interested in joining the group in one way or another.
Or to put it bluntly, if you want to be involved, no one's going to say no. We're going to welcome you with open arms. So don't say, "Will they take me?" Of course, we'll take you. We want everybody who can be involved to be involved.
Sure.
And I have a lot more time now. My hours got cut back at the store, so I keep saying yes, I want to help. Yes, I want to help. I will try to start sketching this week. So I'm sorry I forgot, but you guys just reminded me, so I will try to jump back on the horse, so to speak, with that.
Okay, and we're looking forward to next Sunday, or actually Sunday already. We're
So,
looking forward to Sunday, um, when we are done with the October show.
Yeah,
can I bring a friend?
Bring 3 friends.
sure.
Friend and a
Bring
pizza.
10 friends.
And a checkbook too.
Oh, check. We don't not. Oh, yeah. Buy a picture.
And look,
I'll buy my own if I can get a good discount. And
for anybody who's interested in these meetings is when they are, all you have to do is go to the Photo Society's website, basically, and here you can click on calendar, and on the calendar for each month, for example, here was the opening exhibit, and down here is the member closing exhibit. The steering committee that Mike and Steve were talking about that meets the first Monday of every month unless there's something oddball happening. And those
There we
are
go. There's Anna.
they're on the calendar for, as far as the calendar goes. And if you're going to give a talk, you get a little, thing like this stuck in the calendar that talks about, that shows at least who's coming and whatnot. So that calendar is there for you to keep up to date on what's happening in the society. So if you want to join the meeting, just go to the calendar and see when it's taking place and let us know you're coming, and welcome to you.
And we'll send the link. So just thank you. I just thank you for being interested in the Photographic Society, for keeping the Photographic Society wonderful. And now go to sleep,
Yeah.
go eat dinner, go do your run around the wherever.
Bye, everybody.
But
Right.
it's